Bear with me. My allergies have decided to kick my butt today, so it's big as well. Have any of you guys heard of MetaX? I'm sure you have. Yes? Yes? No? Okay, perfect. We actually developed the AdTech protocol, which Miguel was nice enough to call out earlier. We used to work with him. Thank you, Miguel. Appreciate it. Actually, if you want to go to the next slide. So a little bit about our company. As I just mentioned, you probably know us from the AdChain Publisher Registry. We've also launched AdChain Audits, which is a combination of bringing Web 2.0 and blockchain together. As many of you guys, I'm legacy AdTech. I've been in AdTech since 2004. So if you've ever sat in a room with many of the agencies and brands, and even myself, and tried to explain sharding and oracles, and many of the other blockchain terminologies, you're going to lose them. Once you start trying to kind of explain what a wallet is and how to do crypto economics, and yes, as Miguel mentioned, it's quite fun. However, adoption is also has been a big issue for AdTech in general. We're getting there. We're slowly getting there. But two of the products that I'll go through in just a second are really how we not only can add value today to the advertising world, but also how we want to bring it together moving forward. So this is the AdTech Publisher Registry. We deployed this to the mainnet last year in April. We were the first active DApp to do that. It's utilized across 3 smart contracts. Right now we have about 119 registered domains. You guys can access this at publisher.adchain.com. The the overall value for this was really to create a globalized decentralized global whitelist. And why we wanted to do that was to really give the ad ops individuals and the people that deal with fraud and deal with the nefarious acts, but also deal with the really great publishers on a daily basis, to give them a voice. We didn't want this to be necessary to pay to play. You don't need tax certification. You don't need MRC accreditation. Any of the other fun buzzwords we want to throw out. Like I said, we really wanted to give sort of I don't want to say power to the people, but gotta give these guys a voice to say, okay, I'm seeing this across X, Y, and Z. Are you seeing this? All right, let's kick these guys out of the registry. And really, to have this act as a global way for media buyers, advertising agencies, anyone within has a stake in digital advertising to come in and make a decision. But also know that that decision has been vetted by our fellow industry professionals. To also know that it's updated. I know some of these guys go through accreditation and they just watch videos and they click buttons, and that's great, but we still have the problem of fraud because for that very reason. If I could do a Thanos snap and get rid of it, I would. But that's kind of another reason why we wanted to approach it this way. And like I said, adoption has been an issue. We've learned a lot of things along the way. We went to market with this, sat in many of the very offices from the people in this room. And like I said, we were just a little too early to market. So that's why we kind of took a step back and said, okay, what can we do now that's going to add value to the market, but also kind of prep this for going forward and have a really robust roadmap so that we can continue to add value to the industry, if you will. So AdTech Audits is what we're currently working with today. One of our partners in crime is Horizon Media, mostly out of LA with STX. We've done great work with these guys. We have an independent methodology where we look at impression level analysis. We don't need log files or anything like that, but when we talk about garbage in and garbage out, we're keeping the garbage out. So by auditing all of this media ahead of time, that's really where we're starting to make waves. And all this metadata is going to eventually feed the registry. We have a couple of different things in mind about how we're going to do that, but one of the important keys is working with the partners, again, some of the guys in this room, where, what do you want to see from the registry? What is going to make you actually use the, publisher registry where, the initial reason that we developed it is actually for, that good use. So there's a couple of, we have probably close to now 20 partners in beta. And again, like the purpose of doing all of this is really to keep the garbage out, because if you write a transaction to a blockchain and it's trash, you're just writing trash to a blockchain. So how we're using the blockchain piece today, if you'll go to the last slide. So what we're doing is really just looking at additional layer of security. So this is really great for publishers. It's also great for agencies. So whenever there comes a time where there's a callback or reconciliation or any kind of questionable data comes into play, we actually hash this, and we are writing to Ethereum today. So again, this is not where we're stopping. We're definitely taking this forward, as I said, and really listening to our partners who are utilizing this today and getting feedback from them. You know, what's the next iteration? And so we have a couple of things in mind. But this is scalable. It's actively being used today. And we're seeing great results, which is one of the reasons why we're able to bring on new partners and really put a dent in fraud.
Oh, thank you, Dayna.
Yep.
Questions for Dayna?
Again, sorry for my voice.
How do you deal with the potential legal concerns of a publisher being outed as a potential flood source on blockchain and the reputation risks that one entity has that put on another, especially if it turns out that it was false positive or not justified?
We have really good lawyers. That has been a concern, and quite honestly, that has stopped us from taking the registry in certain ways. We've actually talked about kind of creating a jail scenario where we would put all of the nefarious actors that we found already in jail, as you will, and call them out on the registry, and actually took a step back and said maybe that's not the best approach for that very reason, because it does open up that Pandora's box, if you will. So from this perspective, we're not so concerned about the legality of this, because the people that are finding the fraud are the same people that are using it AdTech, Slack. These are the people that are seeing this on a daily basis. So if you're worried about getting caught, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. And if we need to get outside counsel involved, then we're happy to do so, because we have to take a different approach to fraud. Like, what we're doing as an industry isn't working. So we just have to change things.
So yeah, where I would be concerned is if, so say someone wanted to sabotage another entity and wanted to generate traffic that it made it look like it was coming from a competing publisher, competing entity, and then it would genuinely exhibit the false signals, but it would be essentially a false flag operation.
That's actually where our auditing process comes in, and that's why we approached it the way we did. We're working with Dr. Augustine Fu, who's an independent researcher, and we have a methodology that looks at a series of blue and red flags, which basically says, I am 20% sure you're a bot. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm 80% sure that you're a human. We're going to break that down. So through that analysis and looking at that impression level data, that's where we're able to pick out those bad guys, but also have the data to back it up. So that it's very objective, it's not subjective at all. So if somebody so in that scenario, it's not so much an attack, because we are not only cleaning up the advertiser or the agency's media campaign, but we're showing them, we're like, look, you don't need to buy from these guys anymore. If you want to call them out, if you want to do a clawback, that's completely up to you, but we are going to present you with every piece of supporting data as possible, which I know doesn't happen in a lot of cases today, and let them work with them to not only, to educate them and say, this is what we're seeing, but to also let them make their own decisions. Because again, some of that power has been taken away from like some of the, just what's happening right now.
And then a final question, is there anything about this nature, the structure of a public blockchain where this information will be published that would give malicious actors faster feedback that they have been detected and that others are taking action to do that?
With what we're doing today, absolutely not. No, because what's being hashed, or the campaign data that's being hashed to the chain, it's not accessible by anyone else, and that what you're describing is a little bit more like the economics of like the publisher registry, and so those are the things that we've already been through those scenarios, and that's why we're taking a step back and approaching this from a little bit of a different manner, so that we not only ensure that things like that don't happen, but we want to from the economics or the incentive reward the good behavior. Yes, we have to call those bad guys out, but we still want to reward the good behavior and reward everyone that is doing the right thing, because a lot of times that gets lost.